So first off, we want to place the ground anchor. We want to find a suitable spot where we have enough space around us to where we can set up the turbine. So on it, we got sort of a cross. There's a line going here, and there's a line going here. We're going to use this line to measure out the angles for the ground anchors. So let's place it. Take the line out, follow the line on the footplate, place it down. And then I just want to position the anchor near this. It doesn't have to be into the hole. This just has to be kind of near this one. I place my ratchet wrench on top of this one. And then I want to have a little bit of an angle that's leaning into the tower here. I leave up a few centimeters of ground anchor. And now we go around and do this all around. Next anchor, take the string, follow the lines here, position the anchor and drive it into the ground. So next up we want to place the belts. This is a little bit tricky. What we like to do here at Kydex is we want to find the stitches and then we want to do a sort of self-tightening loop. So what I have is the stitch up here, and then I take some string and then I take my hands through the loop and I reach in and over like so. Flip over here, P-shape seen from your side, and then position the string over the ground anchor here and tighten it up. Now we want to test the anchor. This is a really important step. So what I like to do is get a pretty wide stance here with the loop, and then I want to lean on it with as much force as I can. And that's not coming up. And we'll go around and do this for all the anchors. Important to test all of them. Alright, now we are ready. We already have the carabiners attached here, so let's assemble the tower. We'll find the loop down here where the wire is, and then we insert this one in here. Let's go down to the other end and get the guy lines, or the tower lines. You can take one at a time, or I like to take all three at a time. This is the middle line, this is the right one. I lay the right line over here. And now I want to find these small ears that are up here. So what you want to do is come from down there where it just came, stick it up, in, and just over like this. So when it pulls, it's just going to be sitting on this one. There we are. So let's take the top one, the one that's up, check that it's clear all the way, and then we lift up these arms. These are the tower arms. You can just pop the line into this hole from the outside. And then down here you really want to be careful with this mechanism at the moment. This one can move up and down like so, and you really want to have it up as you move the arm over. So like this, and then pop it down into place. Make sure that it's up, and then you just tension it over like this, and it comes into place. And now we have assembled the tower. You should be able to hear a small note. Yeah, maybe you can. Alright, next up we want to position the tower. I like to place the tower in between two of the ground anchors. So I'll take the two that's pointing up here. This one to my right, I want to take out over here to the anchor to my right. So I'll just take it like this. And then I want to hook this in straight away into the carabiner. And now the two little bit more tricky ones, but these are the lower ones. The one here to my left goes out over to the anchor to my left. Let's lift the tower up. I'd like to step into the tower like this, and then I'll just slowly bring it up like so. So do like this and position the tower like so. Now that there's no weight on the turbine, it's not so important, but as you try to load it up, it's very important that you get the cable into the slit down here. So now we have it up, and now we want to make it straight. Again, grab the loop here, apply a little bit of pressure, tightening it up. That seems about right. So when you are satisfied with all this, you should have moderate tension on the lines. Now you want to test everything and tighten them up even more. So just grab the string and tighten them up properly. They should be pretty tight. It's getting tight to pull. This is the correct tension. Now we'll lean the tower down and we'll put up the blades and rotor. Let's do that. Now it gets a little bit more important how you do everything, because you have to orientate towards where the wind is coming from. So let's say the wind is coming from your direction. So it's coming from where you are seeing this, and then it's blowing in this direction here. Now I want to lean the tower downwind from that position. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we want to rotate the tower. It can freely rotate like this. The lines up there are looking good. And now we want to rotate the setup leg that we have here. We want to position that downwind as well to the direction that we want it to lean to. And now we go and loosen two of these. So this is the one that's the most upwind, and I want to loosen this quite a lot. So this one is slack, like so. And then I want to loosen one of these, also a little bit. Then we take the carabiner off here, and you want to hold on to this, and you can use the carabiner as a handle. So when you come to a direction like this, you can use this one as a handle, and you always, this is very important, you always want to step in with your foot here on the plate, and you can also grab the line up here or wherever you want. And you just want to position this down slowly. There we go. So now we are resting on the ground with the tower. We have tension on this line, and we have tension on this line. This is going to stabilize the tower from any side movements. And then we have the last point of contact is from the setup leg to the ground. Now we've got a pretty stable platform here to work on. All right, I just made sure that the leg here is in the right sort of direction in this one. So we have this node up here. It has this sort of feature in here. This is the one that you want to be facing. So you want this side pointing towards yourself. And then I'll take this one, open this one. Is this one is not already loose? Put the cable that's inside the tower through, and then position everything on top of it. And I slide this one down until I cover it about here. And then you want to lock this one. This one is pretty loose, so you can tighten it up a little bit by doing a rotation or two. And now it's pretty tight. You just want to put that one over, so you get a little bit of tension on this cam lock. Then you want to take the cable and put that up into the plug. The moment transfer arms, they have a small bolt down here, and you want to find the right channels for them here. You can stick it in, and then you want, when you are fully inside of the channel, then you want to rotate them out like so, and you should feel a small click when it does it, that it's sort of engaged in there. And rotate. And as you can see, I also rotated so I don't have to go around the whole turbine. One of the moment transfer arms here, we just want to have that pointing downwards. So let's just start over here. I want this blade spinner about halfway up the boom here, sort of like this, and then we just do these into the cups, like so. And then we want to start down here, or I'd like to start down here. There's no real rules for it. Then I want to find the two lines that are attached here to the blade spinner, so that is not the triangular lines. So these are the two that is not color coded with the blue color. I'll grab these two. I'll notice the orientation of this one. The blade can be sort of towards the tower. So this one is pointing up towards the tower top up here. And you want to make sure that you have the right orientation of the blade spinner as well. So you grab these two lines. This is my right one. I'll do that down to this moment transfer arm down here. And again, what we do here is sort of we make this P. So if you come in and take a closer look, you have these loops on the end of the lines. So again, instead of taking the whole hand through, we just poke two fingers through, and then we want to make this loop like so. So now I have seen from my direction I have a P. I'll have to orientate it like this. If it's from your view, then I got sort of this P shape. Let's do that again. So stick the lines through, fold it over, and take them into the thing. And you can test it, put a finger inside of it, and just see that if you pull on it, then it's just going to be tighter and tighter and tighter. So you want to take your loop here, and then you want to position it on top of the ears here, like so. So up here, and you want to position them. You of course need to choose the 2 ears that are facing the blade. The other ones pointing in the other direction is for the other blades. We just did the two lines down here, and now we want to find the correct color code. We want the one in the leading edge, and that's color coded. In this case, what I got here is the orange one. So you want to orientate this one to the orange spinner up here. So what I'll do first is I'll just rotate this one over. Again, do the loop, and position this over this ear. The other string here, down from this pitch rod, you want to position that on one of the ears down here. It doesn't matter which one. Again, do the loop over. The first blade here was easy because we could just rotate this one. The next blade is the tricky one. We want to put that in the correct orientation, and it's important to match these color codes. So this one is the black one. So I want to put that to the black nose over here, or ear over here. Put it into it. Secure this down. Doesn't have to be tight. Again, this one, face the tower, orientate the blade spinner here, again so the text are aligned and not wrongly mismatched. Get the 2 lines, the one that is not blue, get them here, take them up, do the loops over these ears, like so. And you want to match this one. So I got the black one here, goes to this one over here. And this one goes to its ear over here, of course. We want to get the last blade. This one is a tricky one. So one technique is to do like this, put it in, and have it on your shoulder like this. If it's a little bit windy, it can be confusing. So what I actually like to do is I actually like to position it like this. If it's very windy, then it can also be tricky. You can maybe put a foot on it or something. But again, I want to match these ones. So I make sure that this spinner down here is in the correct orientation. And then I get the 2 lines that are not the blue line. Now I sort of have some strings to help me hold the blade while I get it into position. So, and I can freely move it in here now. So just take it up, hold it, lock it in. And now I can leave it hanging like this, and it's supported. Take the last lines. Hopefully you have the green one now that matches the green one up here. If you cannot reach, you can always lift the blade up a little bit. Then it makes it easier to get the strings to reach. Lastly, we want to take the blue lines. So I get a blue line from down here, and then I know that this blade is pointing sort of in this direction, so I want to go over to this one over here. And this might be the most tricky one. This connection over here. Climb through, and then I get over here. And if you come just super close in here, again I made the small P loop here, and I want to loop around the tail of this spinner down here. So now I have it there. And it looks a little bit of a mess, all the lines now. We're going to slowly bring this one down in a minute, and then we'll need to see that everything is attached correctly. Just do the last 2 ones. This one, like so. And then we'll take the last one here. Make the P over its tail. And how do we tension everything up? So you want to make sure that this one is far out in this direction. So just spin this one up as far as it will go. This seems about right. And then I'll slowly take this one down. And it can be a little bit tricky with the ground and everything, so you might have to sort of lift the blades up if you are caught in some tall grass or whatever. But bring this one down, push it down with my fingers here, and then I want to check all the lines. Got some entanglement here. Just want to unwind that. This looks good. This still looks good. So we'll go a little further. And And now I get down to this point where this piece, this spinner, threaded spinner ring here, that can mate to this one. So I want to screw these together, lock these in place. You don't need to tighten it a lot. And now you want to tighten this handle here. And as you can see now, we got a little bit of some slack lines here. We can do like this. There is also another option actually, I forgot to mention. You can take this leg down here, and if you are at a shallow position, you can actually press down on this one, and then I can slide the leg down like this, and I can get a little bit more clearance to the ground. So here I am almost at the end. I don't want to over tighten this, I'll just stop before the end, and that's fine. What you really want to look for, if it has to be completely correctly, is that you want a small gap up here in this one. And the last check is you can take these two ones, this is the pitch system spinners, and you can put them together and you can put them apart and feel that everything moves freely and without much force needed. And you can see all the blades. You can see all the blades they are turning. This is what you want when you take up the turbine. I'll just leave the rings in a position like this. Alright, let's lift up the turbine. This is the most critical part, that you get it right, because otherwise you risk that it's leaning over or you can damage it in some way. So when you're down here, foot on it, and you just can lean back. It's heavy up until sort of this point, and then you can also let go of the foot. In here, make sure to clip it to the right one. You can pull a little bit on it, and that's it. You don't want to tighten them just yet, because the foot down here has come a little bit off the plate. So before you tighten everything down, you just want to take the tower up. The turbine is pretty light, so you can just take it with two hands or one hand and then just put it into place again. Make sure the cable goes into that one. Make sure it's not clogged with dirt or anything, because you might damage your cable. Now in this position, we're just going to tighten everything down. And remember, this was the one that I loosened, and this one over here to my right. So I just want to tighten these two down again. Give it a good tight strings, and pull this one also pretty tight. There we go. That's good. And then you just want to snap the setup stick here into place. It has some small hooks up here you can come in and see. Just has this catch up here, so you can just snap that into that. Then it's going to stay there. Let's see how all the electrical stuff sets up. Today we won't be able to spin it as there is no wind, but then you'll know how to do it. So let's hook up all the electronics for the wind catcher. So what I got here is an extension cable. So we just plug that in there. And now today I have my EcoFlow. This is a River 600 unit. And this is our ground station. So it's pretty important that you get this right and connect everything in the right orientation. Otherwise you might risk damaging either your battery unit, the ground station, or the turbine itself. So notice on the labels and read up on how you're connecting everything. So the first thing is you should notice is the input side, and this is the power in from the turbine. It also says here on the with text down itself, and this is the thing that got a single end. So this is the turbine side. So we want to connect the turbine into this one here, and it should also match your ends here. And then you wanna, if you're not running directly to a battery system, then you wanna pre-charge this ground station unit here with 12 volts. And in all normal power stations, you have a 12 volt output. If you don't have the right adapter, we also supply them. Make sure you have the right adapter. But in this unit, it's here. And I haven't turned on anything, but you could actually turn it on. And then, of course, I want my output in it as well. And that's on the River unit. It's over here. So we want to stick this in here. Here we go. And then let's turn on everything. There we go. And now you should see that the screen down here has started to come alive. And then I want to double check that the voltage and the amps are correct. If you have a too high voltage or amps for your unit, then you risk damaging this one. So that would be really unfortunate. Make sure that you check up on what it can take. Usually it's written somewhere on them either, and I think on this one it's written down here on the bottom. So read the label, make sure you don't connect anything and risk damaging your units. So if you want to change anything here, there is the fourth tab, which is the Wi-Fi. And if I go to this one, you can see I can tap through all the pages here. And if I hold the button for a long time, I'll activate the Wi-Fi. There we go. It says the Wi-Fi name and also the password on the screen here. So let's go to the phone and see what we can do. I'll open the Wi-Fi, and then I should connect. I can see it's already auto-connected now. On this one it's called VC ground. It also says here on the screen. So I'll connect to that one. I'll press it. And then it prompts me to go into its own web page. You can also go to the IP address. We'll post that down here somewhere. So in here I can configure a lot of different things. For this one, for the power station, we want the MPPT unit. So I'll go into this one, configure, just try again, take this one tab, power station /MPPT, and then I can rearrange the voltage. So let's say this one, I think this one can take 25 volts. So we'll just type, let's type 24. And for the current, let's just do 15 amps for the moment, just to show it. And then take a bit of time, and then I'll just activate the settings. Once I do that, I should be able to again scroll through the screens over here on the right screen, and it should says 24 volts and 15 amps. It's a little hard to read here on the camera. If you are satisfied with it, you can double check it up here, and you can close the Wi-Fi settings like this. And now the hotspot just dies. You can close this one. So to start this turbine, we go into the Wi-Fi, and the unit up here is called wind catcher. So we'll connect to that. Connect, even though there's no internet. And then my phone here, it prompts me to sign into it has this pop-up thing, you know, from hotels and stuff. Like I can press this one, and then I should come into the start thing on it. And here we have the turbine app, and it's pretty basic. So there is a start and a stop button, and it switches. So if I press start here, you should look up at the turbine. It should change the blade angles slightly. I don't know if you can see that. So I'll press it now, and then the blades, they position themselves to go into the start mode. And then it should, if we had any wind today, it should start spinning and should start charging the battery units. That's how it works. And of course, to stop it, just press stop, and you should also be able to see the blades. They'll move up again to the idle position. So loosen one of them to the side a little bit, and then we want to use this one as a handle. So I'll take it, loosen it a little bit, and now I can grab the carabiner, and then I can take that out from the nylon belt. And again, make sure that your setup leg here, you can hold it like this. Make sure that the setup leg here is loose, and make sure that you position your foot here, and then you just want to bring it down like so. There we are. And now we are ready to dismantle everything, pack it up nicely, put it back, and then on to the next adventure.